The Star Sport podcast is brought to you by Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, funding dreams for over 50 years.
Close your eyes and pull like a dog.
And a new Irish record for Phil Healy, 22.99.
Christy Cooney hands over the Sam Maguire Cup to Graham Canty, Cork All-Ireland champions for the 7th time ever.
Hello and welcome once again to another episode of the Star Sport podcast. I'm your host Matthew Hurley and I'm joined today as always by Star Sport editor Kieran McCarthy. The Star Sport podcast is brought to you in association with our friends at Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, where your bank really does matter. Choose Credit Union, choose local, choose community. Now later on the show we will be joined by Sue Nicholson, who works with the West Cork Jesters. Nicholson chats about all the activities, events and opportunities going on in their clubhouse in Durrus. But first, we will discuss some recent stories that are taking the headlines in West Cork this week. And no better place to start, Kieran, with ourselves really. And it is the 2024 West Cork Sports Star Awards for 2024. And that will take place in the Celtic Ross Hotel this Saturday. And should be an excellent evening, obviously. So there were a few award winners announced in the past week. We'll discuss them in just a bit. But just the awards itself, Kieran, like it's going to be a special night, I'd imagine, for the whole of West Cork sport.
Yeah, it's always been a great night, Matthew, the West Cork Sports Star Awards, because it celebrates the best in the West and it brings together the headline makers from the 2024 West Cork Sports Year. And we've chatted about it before, even in our top 20 moments of 24. It was a really special year for West Cork sport. So on Saturday night, it's kind of the great and the good of West Cork sport come together just to celebrate this incredible region. And what always stands out for me, it's just the diversity of the sports. You know, we've seen in recent weeks where we've announced some of the winners. The main winner or the overall West Cork Sports Star of the Year will be announced on the night itself, and we're announcing our Hall of Fame inductee in Thursday Southern Star. But we've announced from Oran Brady the Youth Award from kickboxing, the Clonakilty Rugby Club, the Clonakilty soccer team, to the Goleen junior footballers. So that's 4 different sports across 4 different awards straight away. So this region it's just incredible when it comes to the calibre of the sports people, the variety of the sports and their achievements. And what we love doing in the Sports Star Awards is just celebrating these sports people and making them the centre of attention. And that's what's going to happen on Saturday night.
And there's overall, out of all the sports people nominated, there's 15 different sports people nominated. So it's going to be an excellent night, really. And across all sports, like you see nominees in motorsport, in rugby and athletics, in soccer, like GA, of course. Like there's loads of sports being nominated for this, which probably makes it how special it is for West Cork to have the amount of sports that are excelling at the moment.
It's just incredible. Like when you I've always said it, like it's a golden generation for West Cork sport, but it's probably going further than that, because I've been using the same line for years and years and years, like, and it's just the conveyor belt of talent here is just incredible. Whether it's our rugby players, our GA players, our soccer players, our rowers, road bowlers, our athletes now excelling on the national and the world stages. The likes of Keith Cronin doing what he does in terms of motorsport. You know, you name a sport and you'll find a West Cork sports person who's excelling at it. Like you said, there's 15 individuals in the running for the West Cork Sports Star of the Year, and it's like James O'Donovan, who won a European road bowling gold medal last year. Ciara O'Sullivan from Nicholson, who was in the Cork Camogie team that won the Senior All-Ireland. Even the likes of Nicola Tuttle, like who's one of the rising stars in Irish athletics, you know, so what you have there, it's just a cross section of the incredible talent here in West Cork at the moment. And that's why we always look forward to a night like this, because you're putting these local sports people, you're putting them kind of front and center, and you're celebrating their achievements and what makes them so special. And by doing so, you're actually highlighting what makes West Cork so special as well. So yeah, it's always a good night.
Always is, and I'm sure will be this Saturday night as well. And the overall award winner, the Sports Star of the Year, will be announced on Saturday evening. There were two award winners announced during the course of this week, Kieran. The Team of the Year named was Clonakilty Soccer Club after winning the double, the Beamish Cup and the West Cork League Premier Division. So I know it's pretty obvious why they're named Team of the Year. Like those achievements, they don't come lightly. Like it is an outstanding achievement that Clonakilty Soccer Club achieved, and obviously with Drina Rangers competing with them as well, it makes it even more special. But what made them like a slam dunk in winning the Team of the Year award?
I think it's the history-making kind of exploits of this Clonakilty soccer team. So they were the first Clonakilty soccer team to win the West Cork League Premier Division, which was huge for the town of Clonakilty, which is a sports-mad town. But what we saw last year is like the soccer club kind of, they were putting the town on the map for in terms of soccer, kind of Clonakilty Soccer Club had come close in years past, but last year was the first year that they won the West Cork League Premier Division title, which was huge for the club. And they did it in dramatic circumstances. The Premier Division boiled down to the last game of the season for Clonakilty were home to Drina Rangers, who were their title challengers and were just 2 points behind them in the table. So you the top two battling it out in a title decider, Clonakilty at home, and they finished in a 2-2 draw, and Clon had to come from behind twice. But that point was enough to see Clon win the Premier Division for the first time. And just a month earlier, Clonakilty won the Beamish Cup for the first time in 16 years. So and again they beat Drina Rangers. They beat them 3-2 in the final, and that was a huge result for Clonakilty because it showed them that they can beat the best in West Cork, which has been Drina Rangers for the last number of years. So for Clonakilty Soccer Club to win the double, the Beamish Cup and the Premier Division title, the two biggest titles in West Cork League, that's a phenomenal achievement for that group of players. And I think that's why they're a very deserving kind of recipient of the West Cork Sports Star Team of the Year award.
And they will be awarded with the Team of the Year on Saturday evening. Congratulations to all of Clonakilty Soccer Club for winning that. And the Special Achievement Award, we spoke about doubles there with Clonakilty Soccer Club, Kieran. We have another team to complete a double, and it is obviously Goleen GA. They won the Special Achievement Award. They won the Confined Junior B County Championship and also the Carbery Junior B Football Championship as well. They only lost 2 games all year, which was absolutely incredible in its own right. It's a brilliant achievement for such a small area, I suppose, around Mizzen to achieve what they have over the last year. Not just to lose 2 games, only 2 games all year, but to win the Confined Junior B Championship while saying that they wanted to stay down there despite winning the Carbery Junior B last season. It's a magnificent achievement and deserving winners, I'm sure.
100%. And you almost sum it up there, Matthew, in terms of why Goleen have won the Special Achievement Award. I suppose the context here is important. Goleen had lost 4 county junior B finals between the confined and the open championships since 2019. And after they won the Carbery Junior B in 2023, Goleen had the option to go up to Junior A for 2024, which was last season. But in December 23, the players held a meeting and they said, no, we have unfinished business at Junior B. We don't want to go up to Junior A until we've won a county Junior B title. So they kind of backed themselves into the corner in one sense. They put pressure on themselves to deliver. And I think that's what made last year so special for Goleen, because they did deliver. They finally got over the line. They finally won the county junior B title that they wanted. They beat Ballyfinane in the county junior B final in Páirc Uí Rinn back in July, and it was just such a special moment for them. And I think it just highlights the kind of the resilience and the grit and the determination of that group, because, like I said, Matthew, they put pressure on themselves. Like they said, we're not going up to Junior A till we win a Junior B county, and they're hard to win. And they'd lost 4 finals since 2019. So just a special year for the Goleen footballers. They won the Carbery Junior B title as well, as you said. I think they won a Carbery League title too on top of that, and they just missed out in the county double. They lost the county Junior B kind of open final in December, lost to Douglas. But what a hell of a year, an incredible year. And I think, again, a very deserving recipient of the Special Achievement Award, and Dale takes center stage as well on Saturday night, which is brilliant to see.
Exactly. So, and all the winners will take centre stage on Saturday night. It should be a good night in celebrating West Cork sport. We spoke about Clonakilty Soccer Club there. They were in action in the first round of the Beamish Cup. last weekend, should I say. So we'll go through some of the results. We'll go through the preliminary round first. And first off the bat, it's not just first of the list it's first of the list because it was random order, but it was the shock of the round. Ardfield 4, Dunmanway Town 3. Drina Rangers B beat Castlelac 2-1 in the preliminary round as well, and Mizenhob A beat Bunratty beat Mizenhob, should I say, by 3-1. First result off the page, Kieran. Ardfield, third bottom of the championship, beating Dunmanway Town, who won 3 out of the last 5 Beamish Cups. What a result to kick the Beamish Cup off.
Brilliant. We spoke last week about kind of the beauty of the cup, and it's kind of the magic of the cup where you've shocks, and we were trying to see where the shocks are going to come from. I didn't foresee this, kind of like you mentioned there. Dunmanway Town are kind of experts when it comes to the Beamish Cup in recent years. They've won it 3 times since the 2019-2020 season, and they would have been favourites for this game on Sunday afternoon. It was pushed back a couple of hours. It was meant to kick off, I think, at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning, but was pushed back to 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. But this game had nearly everything: 7 goals, 2 hat-tricks, lots of talking points. Just Paul Hodnett getting a hat-trick for Ardfield. He was their hero. At one stage, Ardfield were leading 4-1, 4-1 before they launched a late comeback. But what a result to kick the Beamish Cup off with, like a big shock like that, and just shows the beauty of the cup.
It does, exactly, and what a result to kick off the Beamish Cup indeed. Looking at the round 1 results then, there was a few eye-catching results here as well. Drina Rangers A team beat Alta Celtic by 4-1. Skibbereen AFC won against Alta Celtic's B team by 3-1. Clonakilty Soccer Club beat Bay Rovers by 1-0, but they needed a Chris Collins last-minute penalty to win that game. So they got out of jail there, the champions, the holders of the Beamish Cup. Castletown Celtic lost 6-1 to Torker Celtic. That's my prediction, gone down the drain altogether. And Spartak Mosgrove beat Skibbereen Celtic by 8-0. What a performance by the Newstown-based soccer outfit. Few eye-catching results there, Kieran. No more so than my prediction going up in smoke.
Yeah, and Castletown, I could see why you kind of tipped them as dark horses for this year, Matthew, because they were semi-finalists the last 2 seasons. But I don't think anyone could have foreseen a 6-1 home loss to kind of a Toger team that's just above the relegation zone in the Premier. But what a result for Toger. Like, I see Paddy Crowley got a second half hat-trick. They were 3-1 up at half-time. They goals from Cathal Daly, Niall Hurley and Robbie Lucy. But that's a huge win for Toger. And it's kind of that's almost a win too that'll kind of feed into their Premier Division form. Kind of they had a super win against Bear there over Christmas. I think they won 5-0. So they're a team that's starting to score goals now. They're starting to get their players back, and if they get more results like that, they won't have relegation worries in the Premier. Like, I think they proved their class with that win last weekend. But what a turn up for the book. So the shocks did come. They did come last weekend. The FA Cup might have disappointed us across the water, just Plymouth and Tamworth were a bit unlucky against Spurs. Over 90 minutes, but the Beamish Cup delivered the shocks, Matthew.
Well, Man United beat Arsenal. You could say that.
I wouldn't say that's a shock, because doesn't the cream always rise to the top?
Exactly. So, and we'll move. The next round of the Beamish Cup will be in the coming weeks as well, and we will look at it in the Southern Star Sports section in the next few weeks. Moving attention to rugby, and Munster got a win in the European Champions Cup over the weekend. They beat Saracens by 17 points to 12, and 3 West Cork men played huge roles in particular. John Hodnett scored the clincher of a try, the second try of the game in the 65th minute, a brilliant run down the wing from the Ross Carberry man. And the first try by Dan Bluler was actually set up really, really well by Gavin Coombs, who made a great line break for the first try, and obviously Jack Crowley converted all his conversions and did well on the penalties as well, and gave a good interview to RTE afterwards. So the West Cork Mafia rolls on, Kieran, and it was a good win for Munster at the weekend.
Yeah, it was a good win. It was a badly needed win as well. We definitely needed that one. So it was just that West Cork influence again. John Hodnett scored a great try. To see him motoring there at the end, to get across the line, and even though he felt the momentum, he picked himself up and he went again and he got over. And Jack had a really solid game as well, and he almost got a brilliant solo try, an incredible solo try I think it was in the first half. So just a good result for Munster. I'm just looking there now, kind of sets them up for this weekend away to Northampton. Huge game, it's a round 4 of the Champions Cup, to go to Franklin's Gardens there Saturday, 3:15 kickoff. So it's a result that kind of puts Munster, I think, second in the table, you know, and Munster just need 1 point to qualify for the round of 16 as it stands. If we're looking back to last season, though, Munster were knocked out by Northampton in the round of 16 at Franklin's Gardens. It's a game Munster lost 24-14. So will Munster have revenge in their eyes heading over there? Let's see, you know. But hopefully Munster get the result they need to qualify for the next round. And again, there will be that West Cork involvement. And I just see there now, just in the last while, Matthew, that the Ireland men's Six Nations squad was announced, and it's no surprise to see Jack Crowley will fly the West Cork flag. He's one of the 5 Munster players selected in a 36-player squad for the Six Nations, and Ireland will kick it off. I'm looking here against England, so it's not too far away on Saturday, February 1st. So that's 2 weeks. This Saturday we'll have the Six Nations, and we'll have our West Cork man Jack Crowley flying the local flag again.
Not just exciting on a local level, but or national level as well for Irish fans. The Six Nations, obviously Ireland are aiming to defend their Six Nations crown in 2025. Looking at the last bit of news this week, and that revolves around the GAA field. Unfortunately for Kilmurray, the Muskerry side lost the All-Ireland Junior Football Championship semi-final on penalties to Donegal's Naomh Padraig, and Kilmurray were 2-9 to 12 points up in the second half of extra time. Then Naomh Padraig score a quick-fire 1-1, and the whole game changes completely. I know Kilmurray equalised at the end to take it to penalties at the end, but 3 saves from the Naomh Padraig goalkeeper broke Kilmurray hearts. And to be honest, Kilmurray, I watched a bit of this game, and Kilmurray were really in this throughout the whole game. They scored an early goal through Lawrence Ashling. Rory Duggan got a goal in extra time as well. They just didn't have enough to get over the line. And to be fair, Naomh Padraig are a very good side. Ultimately, it's heartbreak though for the Muskerry team.
Oh, yeah, especially to lose an All-Ireland semi-final on penalties and miss out on the chance to play in Croke Park. You know, it's a really tough one to take. Like you said, there were 3 points up in extra time, you know, and for Naomh Padraig to come back and grab that 1-1, and then Kilmurray came back again. But I think they'll be devastated this weekend. They'll be heartbroken, Kilmurray. But once the dust settles at some stage, you know, and it will eventually, they can reflect on such an incredible voyage, you know, kind of to win the county, to win Munster, you know, kind of to put Kilmurray kind of front and foremost in our minds, and for the community what they've done and just galvanised everyone. It's just it's days like this that they'll remember in years and years to come. Okay, they missed out in an All-Ireland final, but still, I think just the 4th Cork club to win the Munster Junior Football title, you know, kind of that's a hell of an achievement, you know. So they'll be able to take a lot of positives from that, you know, when eventually that kind of disappointment does kind of subside. But yeah, it was a tough one to take, you know. But while we're talking All-Ireland competitions, big weekend for you, Mr. Hurley. You're part of the SARS the SARS hurling team involved in the stats side. You know, you have the little matter of an All-Ireland club final on Sunday.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention in this podcast now, but yeah, part of the SARS statistics team for the All-Ireland final against the Fianna this weekend. Look, it's been a great journey for the whole Glanmire club, but hopefully they'll win the All-Ireland come the weekend, and the great job Johnny Crowley's doing with the team this year, obviously, and yeah, just privileged to be involved in the statistics team. Obviously, I got asked at the start of this year, so yeah, it's taken all the way to Croke Park, it's something I'm looking forward to. But we'll have to see what happens over the weekend. Hopefully that SARS can get over the line. But on the Kilmurray point of view, it's harsh on them, but I'm sure they'll be back in the Intermediate A Football Championship next year, and they will be challenging for honours indeed. We'll take a quick break now, and after the break, we'll be concentrating on the West Cork Jesters.
The Star Sport podcast is brought to you by Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, funding dreams for over 50 years.
So welcome back to the podcast, and in a while, Kieran will be talking to Sue Nicholson about her involvement in the West Cork Jesters. And you had a good chat with her, Kieran, didn't you?
I did, yeah. It's a big year for the West Cork Jesters coming up. There's the World Cup in Pamplona that is later. I think it's in June, you know. So there's a lot going on, you know. So, but decided to have a chat with Sue just to highlight the incredible work that the West Cork Jesters do right across the region, and it really is incredible work, you know. So There's a lot of fundraising going on at the moment because we'll hear from Sue now. The West Cork Jesters have to raise 48,000 to kind of cover all the expenses that kind of are related to the IMART Mixed Ability World Cup that's coming up. That's coming up. I think it's in June. I'm just double checking the dates here while we're chatting. Yeah, it's starting in. There's 17 members have been asked to take part in the World Cup in Pamplona in June. So 11 local women and 6 local men will play with either the Ballincollig Trailblazers or the men with selected international teams. So that's an incredible amount of local people who will be going to the IMART Mixed Ability World Cup. And like I said, the West Cork Jesters do so much good work, and it's not just in rugby, it's across so many different from boxing to running a cafe to there's Kaylee dancing, you name it, there's so much involved. And we're going to hear from Sue quite soon now, where she fills us in on all the incredible activities at the West Cork Jesters too, and also how you can help out with the fundraising. There's a load of fundraising initiatives happening right across West Cork in the weeks and months ahead. And if we could all chip in and help, it's a great initiative to and a great organisation to get behind and to back. So enough about me. Just listen to my chat here with Sue, who will explain it far better than I ever could. We're delighted now to be joined on the Star Sport podcast by Sue Nicholson, and we're going to chat about the West Cork Jesters. Welcome to the podcast, Sue.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for considering to have us, because this is a very important year for us. So we're very appreciative.
Oh, it's a huge year coming up. I think 17 members are going to take part in the World Cup in Pamplona, Spain in June. But before we talk about that and all the great fundraising initiatives that you've ongoing, talk to us about the West Cork Jesters and how it came about and when it started up and so on.
Yeah, sure. So it really started back in 2018. Nobby Dunn was an outline instructor for coaction in Bantry, and he organised some tag rugby for the lads. He's kind of mainly got older lads who were working with him at that point. But he realised that it was something they all really wanted to take part in. So it actually spread through all the other coaction hubs, because my daughter is very much involved in the rugby and has been since the get-go. But we're in Clonakilty. I mean, I'm one of the furthest people away. We have myself in Kilbrittain, and we have another very enthusiastic member, Fiona Riney, in Kenmare. So we're spanning a huge area. And geographically, we can be quite challenged, to get people together. But you can see the enthusiasm which is there. So having started his tag rugby, and as I say, my daughter was attending, and so were a lot from Clonakilty. They were travelling down to do that. He then realised that there was a real need for people to be involved, just in team sports, inclusive team sports. And he'd heard about the IMART World Cup, the Mixed Ability Rugby World Cup, which was taking place. It should have taken place in 2020, but COVID put a stop to that. But on the back of that, he asked the lads would they be interested in full contact rugby, and they pretty much all said yes. And again, so did my daughter, which was a bit of a surprise. So that's where it really started. It was that realization that there was a very significant gap for children and young adults. And we are, well, besides the boxing, the rugby, we're talking young adults and older adults, I have to say. There was a real gap for them to be included in any sport, to be part of a team, to be accepted for who they were and for what they brought to the table. And this was a gaping gap. And so immediately you had all these people, they really wanted to be included because they had been watching their siblings, they had been watching, other members of the extended family going to matches, but never able to take part. So it really, it took off pretty much straight away. And even though when COVID, we were all training, we knew we were all training towards the World Cup in 2020. But even, when COVID came and put a halt to all of that, we were kind of training online. Nobby would send out various exercises and we were all doing them with our various offspring at home. So the continuity was kept. And as soon as we were able to travel again, we started retraining. And at that point, we weren't sure was it going to be 2022 or not. And it was. And so we had a real focus. We knew it was going to be June in Cork City, held in Musgrave Park. Sundays well Rebels, and they're a very big mixed ability squad. I think they've got like nearly 60 players, but they're in the city, so it's easier for them to gather people. They were the hosts because they had won the previous time the IMARS World Cup was held. So we had a real focus. And then we started to gather people along the way, because this is great. I mean, my husband, who's flipping ancient, don't tell him that I said that, but like he said, I'll go back and train with them. And so he took part, and we gathered people who they might be part of, say, Clon Vets rugby team, or they might be people who were training possibly in Bantry or Dunmanway or whatever. We kind of gathered these people who they really wanted to still play rugby. They felt a bit like our guys. They couldn't really be included in a mainstream team. So they came behind us, and it swelled. I mean, I just had a quick check. I think going to the World Cup, we had 36 players listed to play in the World Cup. And that was huge for us, People just kept appearing and saying, I'd like to be part of it, because they recognized what we were doing and how important it was. So, we gathered people along the way, and it was amazing. And as you know, we got to the World Cup, we had an absolute ball. I went as the photographer, and I was only sad that I couldn't be there in the evenings or when all the socializing took place, because that's equally important, that feeling of inclusivity in social occasions. So that was the beginning of it, and it's sort of snowballed pretty quick from there.
Like we've seen the West Cork Jesters, Sue, it's gone from strength to strength over the years. And you mentioned the geographical spread there. You mentioned like from Kilbrittain to Kinmare, like we've players from Drimoleague, Bantry, Cahill, Barryroe, Rosscarbery, Ahakishta. Like this is right across West Cork, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it really is very spread out. We do have, for the boxing, we have support from rural transport, what we could really do with, because I know we have people down in Castletownbere area and they just can't get to us. We've tried to kind of work it for them that they could be included in the rugby. We've tried to get the local, can we sort it with the local link? We are geographically challenged, there's no doubt about that, but we can see there's a huge need for what we do. So we're fired up because of that. But if anything, if we could have, I don't know, is it, I just wonder, is it possible to get volunteers on board that they could bring people to us if we can't get hold of rural transport in these areas? Is there something else we can do to get people to us? Because there is this huge feeling of goodwill, and all these people behind us, and there are people who say, what can I do? So, I mean, it is ridiculous. We are covering a huge area. I mean, we did have a couple from Bandon at one stage. One of those has moved in my direction. The other one, he chose to go to Sunday as well, which is quite understandable. But it is that need to try and get rural transport or local link or volunteers who could drive as part of our volunteering system.
What you mentioned earlier too is quite important, Sue, that feeling of inclusivity for the players to get the chance to play and to be part of a team, and also for that social aspect as well. Like that must be a game changer.
No, absolutely. I mean, we always say there's the kind of the power of involvement. There's the opportunity really to be part of a sporting team, which these guys, like, they never had this before. I mean, we have some players, and I'm not sure they won't mind me giving out their age, but and I'm talking about not our experienced players, but the players who are coming to us from Coaction. Some of them in their 40s, 50s. Like, this is huge. They never had this opportunity before. So we really, we need to get everybody behind it. Because as I say, we are challenged in some ways, but we have a great core team there. We have great trainers. We have such enthusiastic coaches, and we have an amazing committee. The people are working tirelessly in the background, just thinking of new things to do, new activities for the gang, because as you said yourself, the socializing is a big part of it. I mean, we are empowering them. They are building in confidence, because suddenly there's acceptance there, which wasn't there before. There's opportunities there. We are opening doors, not closing them. And once we've those doors open, we support them to do whatever they've decided to enter into to do, whether it's the coffee stop that we have, which is now open again on a Sunday, whether it's the rugby, the boxing, and then we have a list of other activities. I mean, I know off the top of my head, we've yoga tonight on, and everybody's welcome. It's open to the general public. Wednesdays we have rugby. Thursdays we have boxing for both underage and overage. And then on Friday is once a month we have a social get together. It's called the Jesters Giggle, because a gathering of jesters is called a giggle, a bit like a gathering of crows is called a murder of crows. So we have the Jesters Giggle every Friday and the last Friday of the month. And then Sunday we have the coffee stop open again. We have Ceilidh dancing. We've got a Ceilidh dancing workshop starting this Sunday, the 19th, and for 4 weeks. And we have DIY always held on a Sunday morning as well. And they're doing lots of different things in that. So, you know, we're covering loads, and it's all geared, as you say, to empowering them, to giving them autonomy, to give them choice. With the coffee stop, they're getting the opportunity for work experience, which a lot of them won't have had. You know, it's very difficult to get small businesses and companies to take people on. And those that have it, and my daughter has a great little job because she's mad about horses. She has a great little job on a Thursday with Grace Santry in Tullineskey Equestrian Centre. But she's one of the lucky ones. You know, you need job coaches. I mean, you know, like Coaction, they're suffering just as everybody else is with getting staff on board. I mean, none of it is easy. It's all a flipping challenge. But, you know, we're up for it with the support of the community, and we have huge community support. We're very lucky there.
It's incredible, even just the kind of the variety and the width of kind of activities that you mentioned there, Sue, is just incredible. And I think too, excitement must be building, because we mentioned about it's the IMART Mixed Ability World Cup is on in Pamplona, Spain in June this year. So 11 West Cork Jesters women are up, will join the Ballincollig Trailblazers, the former squad, and 6 local men will play with selected international teams. So before we talk about the fundraising, is excitement starting to build ahead of the World Cup?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially now that we're over Christmas, because, you know, like everybody, we took a couple of weeks off training wise pre-Christmas, as did the Ballincollig Trailblazers. And I just also need to say they are an incredible organisation. We were praying we might be asked to join them again for the women, as we had been in 2022. And they did ask us, and, you know, we're, as you know, fundraising madly to make sure we can go, and we will go. We'll get there with our fundraising. But it's just, you know, to have the Trailblazers behind us like that is fantastic. They know all our guys anyway, and we know them. So it's providing a second night of training at the moment, and it's then going to stretch probably to 3 nights as we get closer. But yeah, no, the excitement is building. I mean, especially for us, we've already, you know, we've had lots of monies come in, but we've kind of already spent them. You know, we've got the flights, we've got the accommodation, we'll have transport when we get there. We've got training gear, match gear. You know, we're having to fundraise for 48,000 euros, but we will get there because we've got great support. So the excitement on all sides is building. We've got our first rugby training back this Wednesday. So, you know, there's already Fiona Riney, the ladies captain, she's already sending messages to make sure everybody turns up. So yeah, no, it's going to take off from here because, you know, June is, it's only a blink of an eye away, to be fair. And more for us, for the committee, our focus is on making sure, you know, we get to our target. And as I say, we will. We've absolutely no doubt we will, because people are so kind and so generous. But, you know, the biggest thing, they want to be involved. They love this. They like being involved in this. They like what we do. I mean, I just going back to the World Cup in 2020, as I say, I was photographer there. The whole time I was looking through the flipping lens, you know, and I missed out on all the social occasions because I was running home to try and get through and edit all the photographs and stuff. But it was just, every day I went, there were more and more people turning up because they'd seen, you know, little clips on television and stuff, and they'd been watching it on social media, and they wanted to be part of it. Every single day, there were more and more people just turning up to watch. I mean, I had a daughter who was on holiday, and she said, I can't do this. I need to be there. I need to come home and watch Jess. And she literally, she threw in the towel for the holiday. She said, stuff that, I'm going home, and turned up for the last day to watch them. So that, you know, that was the goodwill that was behind it. I mean, I had friends saying, oh, we're going to come up from Kerry for the day. We want to be part of it. You know, everything you saw, whether it was a young man in a wheelchair being helped to score a try, or as very often is the case, somebody being turned around because they're running the wrong way. I mean, it's just all, I want to be there, I want to be part of this, I want to cheer them on, because they're all giving it 200%. There was nobody on that pitch that didn't want to be there and didn't want to succeed in whatever way they could succeed. So yeah, I'm so looking forward to it, because even though I'll do the photography again this year, I just want to be part of all that social scene as well, because there was nothing that wasn't enjoyable about it. It was just the best experience. And I know everybody, as I say, each time, every day when new people came, it was very evident that everybody who was there was glad they were there and really enjoyed what they were seeing and the people that they were socializing with as well.
And the beauty of it is we can all be part of this and help out in the fundraising. So fill us in a bit more. Like you said, 48,000 that you're trying to raise. And this is to cover from flights, accommodation, competition entry, training gear, transport, carers, expenses for athletes with additional needs, the medical team, and so on. So how can people get involved? How can people, in terms of sponsorship and fundraising and donating, Sue?
Well, our biggest fundraiser, and we have got a number of businesses on board, but I checked with Mags. Very important to check everything with Mags, because she's our fantastic fundraiser. So there are fundraising packages still available for small or bigger businesses. And so what we're offering is there's three tiers. So for an investment of €2,000, or I should say a donation really, but you are investing in our team, for €2,000, Mags is putting a booklet together, and it's a really lovely booklet. There's stories about the lads, there's photographs, there's all the information, there's information going forward for iMart and for all about the Jesters. It's a beautiful little booklet. So you'd get a full page ad, a pitch side sign, so it's like 5 meters by 1 meter. You'd be sponsoring a specific player, and our social media is busy, and I'm hoping to get someone else to help me with that as well as we go forward in the next couple of weeks. So you'd get specific social media coverage for €1,000, half page ad, pitch sign 3 meters by 75 centimeters, a player sponsorship, and social media coverage. And then the smaller package of €700, you get a quarter page ad, a player sponsor, and social media coverage. So that's aimed obviously at the businesses, and we do have quite a few on board, which is wonderful. We're still waiting for others to get back to us. And then people have been, I need to absolutely specify this. People have been amazing so far. I mean, we've had a lot of fundraising coming up to Christmas in particular. I mean, we knew that once you got over the hump of Christmas, January is a difficult time for people. So we made the most of it. I mean, we had a raffle and we had phenomenal prizes. With people locally have contributed in whatever way they can to date. They've been terrific. But we do have a few more fundraisers coming up. And if I just mention them. So on Sunday, the 19th of January at 11 a.m., there's an introduction to neurodiversity with chartered psychologist, Dr. Clara O'Byrne. And her theme is neurodiversity and how differences in brain type impact individuals. And that is, and I forgot to write down the location, but it is already on our Facebook page. So that is a small fundraiser that's being held for us. We have 2 big fundraisers coming up then. We have got on Sunday, the 26th of January, 3 p.m, Bantry Boys Club. We've got the Euro Bingo with €1,000 prize fund. And that's being organised by 2 parents of young men who are travelling. Maura McSweeney, whose son Danny is travelling, and Tess Healy, whose son Sean is travelling with us. So that's a big one, 26th of January. And then on February the 15th, that's Saturday, February the 15th, 8:30 p.m, in the Keys Bar in Bantry, we have Music Bingo. And this is kind of a really popular event that has been used by a lot of bigger clubs, like GAA clubs, for instance. It's a really fun night. I've just been sent a video. I'm going to put that up on the Facebook page so people can see what it's about. Again, there's a prize fund. What they're saying is there's prizes every 5 minutes. We're going to use Eventbrite to sell the tickets this time, and it'll be €15 a ticket. So that's going to be really successful. DJs on the night, a lot of fun. And then the other one, which we are sure of at the minute, is our Rosscarbery 5K run. We did a kind of a couch to 5K last year, and that is on Maybank holiday, Sunday the 4th. So, people can get involved with those. But what we would say, if somebody wants to have a little coffee morning on our behalf, 50 euros is lovely to receive. 100 euros is lovely to receive. I mean, we organized a little swim here on New Year's Day, and I'm really happy to say the feeling was so good. That will have raised 2,000 euros. So it's everything counts. It's wonderful, and people will support whatever anybody would like to organize, and we are willing to help as well. We'll get behind you. We can send people to help. We can give you flags, banners, whatever. So yeah, I mean, everything counts. Everything counts. We won't say no to anything.
And for people to get in touch, Sue, is it through social media, like through your Facebook page? What's the best way to get in contact with you or anyone else?
Yes, I mean that is at the moment, because I am, I'm sort of trying to dedicate time to post a couple of times a day if I can. Just the way the algorithms work. Yes, I will always pick up a message there on the Facebook page. I'm a little bit slower on Instagram, but I do get to it and I do see messages that come up. I mean, at the minute that is, we have been trying to get, and this is where maybe somebody could help us. I don't know. Our website, we don't have anyone to update and look after our website, and we could really do with something like that. So that isn't as up to date. There would be there's a phone number link on that, and there is an email address on that as well. Claire Downey, she would keep an eye on any emails coming in. I mean, probably the safest way is to get in touch through social media. I'm also going to make sure, now that you've asked, that whatever phone number is linked to our Facebook page, because I think it was changed, I'm going to make sure that that's a number that is active, and I will add it, because there's so many people who aren't on social media, that the phone number can be passed around. Well, that's, happy days. So yeah, but for the minute, if you contact us on Facebook, I will always get back to you, and I will point you in the right direction, or get someone to phone, if you've got a suggestion or an idea, or you want to volunteer.
Brilliant. No, fantastic. Sue, you've been so kind with your time. Best of luck in the fundraising in the weeks and months ahead, like exciting times ahead of the World Cup in June, and thank you for chatting with us.
Thank you so much. Terrific. Appreciate that. Thank you.
The Star Sport podcast is brought to you by Access Credit Union. Access Credit Union, funding dreams for over 50 years.
So it is that time of the week again where we discuss what's in this Thursday's Southern Star Sports section. So yeah, there's a good load of it this week here, and so what's in it for our readers?
Yeah, absolutely packed this week. So there's loads going on inside there. I've an interesting piece with a Leppo woman, Mary Rose Shanahan, who's running Wide Atlantic Recovery. So it's the mobile sports recovery kind of business that she offers, and she's involved with a lot of local teams already, from Castlehaven to O'Donovan Rossa Ladies to Kilbeckyby footballers, Goleen, and so on. So it's just interesting, an interesting story how Mary Rose takes her sports recovery business to the teams, instead of the teams having to go to her. So she takes her show on the road as such, between ice bats and kind of the compression boots after training and so on. So it's a really interesting one and a super idea. So that's well worth checking out. We have a 2-page special on the Beamish Cup, like we spoke about earlier. We have match reports from Ardfield's win against Dunmenway, and also Clonakilty Soccer Club's last gasp win against Bay Rovers. So that's well worth checking out for local soccer fans. Also, I had a chat with the new Cork Ladies football manager, Joe Carroll, who succeeded Shane Ronayne. The Cork Ladies kick off their league campaign the weekend after this. So just a good opportunity to chat with Joe to see why he wanted to take the Cork Ladies job and what his thoughts are for the season ahead. Also, Tom Lyons asks, how do you solve a problem like the under-21 club football and hurling grade? So it's been one that's kind of a conundrum in recent seasons because of the split season. Where do you fit the under-21 championships in? How will they work? The football equivalent has a county championship. The hurling doesn't. What can we do to address this? So Tom gives us his take on that. For our motorsport readers, you have to check out Martin Walsh's piece on the current kind of the new fuel rules that are causing consternation and concerns for club and competitors, because they're going to increase the costs. So that's one to check out on that. And also, Matthew, you have a piece with Bantry Jiu-Jitsu Club, who are heading to the Europeans in Lisbon. That started this Friday. So we've loads in there. It's an absolutely packed sports section. So plenty of reading waiting to be read.
Exactly so. And as usual, if you are further afield or can't make it to the shops, you can subscribe to the Southern Star e-paper and get the Southern Star on your laptop, tablet, or phone. Just go to www.southernstar.ie/subscribe, enter your details, and you'll get an exact replica of the newspaper for less than €2 per week. As always, thanks for listening to the Star Sport podcast, and thanks again to our sponsors at Access Credit Union. If you've enjoyed this, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts, and we'll be back again next week. Until then, take care.